If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Introducing Meta Ray-Ban Display, the world's most advanced AI glasses. With a full color display built into the lens of the glasses, it's there when you need it and gone when you don't. Send and receive messages, translate or caption live conversations, collaborate with Meta AI, and more. Be one of the first to try Meta Ray-Ban Display. Visit meta.com/Meta Ray-Ban Display to book a demo and find your pair.
The Rita Cosby Show
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, boy, this is pretty scary. Passengers at airports in Pennsylvania and British Columbia were really surprised today when loudspeakers suddenly started blasting pro-Hamas messages and slurs against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump. Obviously, pro-Hamas hackers somehow got into their systems and they were playing unauthorized recordings throughout the terminals there at the airport in Pennsylvania and in that part of Canada. That's pretty scary. Suddenly, hackers getting into the system, spewing just horrible, vile messages, and then apparently flashing messages praising Hamas and calling for a free Palestine and essentially saying, long live Hamas. That is an extraordinary action. And the big question is, how did this happen? Can you imagine you're in the airport and suddenly long live Hamas comes up on all the different boards up there and also on the speaker system? Well, that's what happened in a Pennsylvania airport and a British Columbia airport. And boy, oh boy, that is scary. Guess what? It wouldn't have to be hacked if Zohran Mamdani's the mayor. He'll say, could you play that all the time at Gracie Mansion? I really love the sound of that. Boy, oh boy, we're in for a doozy, guys. And again, the debate is going to happen tomorrow night. Let's go back to BJ real quick on line 5. Go ahead, BJ. Sorry, we had to cut you off for the break, but go ahead.
No worries. This is a key point. I think people should jot it down if they can, because tomorrow, what you have is right now you have the Civilian Complaint Review Board does not have the final say over what happens to a police officer after the board makes a ruling. Okay, the police commissioner does, whether or not that particular individual stays or goes, or how to what degree is disciplined. Under Mamdani will push to have the CCRB review and make the final call on what happens to how a police officer is disciplined at the outcome of a complaint. This is important because he will drain the police force if he has his way. Every cop gets complained against that gets a complaint put before that board will lose under Mamdani. And this is key because these police protect your rights and my rights. They make us safe. They protect our children. They protect our daughters, our mothers, our elderly parents. And if there's no cops around, we're going to have a real problem. And this goes in line with Mamdani's philosophy about restorative justice and community policing and defunding the police. This is all crap. This is what happened under de Blasio, this type of craziness. We've already had de Blasio, and that was an unmitigated disaster. We do not need a replay.
And by the way, BJ, I think he is far worse than Bill de Blasio. I think he's much, much worse. And I agree with you. Bill de Blasio was a disaster. And remember the moment with Bill de Blasio where he essentially told the police to stand down, where they didn't do anything for a number of days while rioting and looting. They were going through Macy's. And then finally, Bill de Blasio stopped because he got enough complaints from important enough people that the city was on fire and it cannot go on any longer. So he essentially then, according to reports, that's what changed his mind, And then he suddenly told police to do their job, and they luckily did right away because they're so great, the NYPD, like you talked about. But you hit it on the head because you're going to have a mayor who's going to say, stand down. You're going to have a mayor who's going to say, keep protesting, guys. Remember, we had Kamala Harris who was donating to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. This guy's going to be like doing that on steroids. And that's why I'm telling you, Bill de Blasio, I use the analogy, and it's a funny one, but it's a true one. He looks like Clint Eastwood in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He looks like Charles Bronson compared to this guy. This guy really is frightening. At least Bill de Blasio, he definitely didn't always make the right decisions. There's no question about that. And he really let the police down to the point where they turned their backs on him, remember, in the funeral. This guy is so bad. I agree. There's going to be such an exodus. And you're right. If something were to happen, and also if they try to help ICE, he'll deem that as a violation. If they try to stop a protest, even if we consider it violent, anybody with a normal brain would consider it violent, but he might consider it First Amendment. He might consider that an infraction or disciplinary action. So your point about the civilian review board is a very important one. And it's interesting. He wants to take that power away from someone who is close to the police, because usually you pick a police commissioner who at least has a good relationship, often comes through the police department. He wants to take it away because he doesn't want anybody who might have any sort of understanding of how tough a police person's job is. Because, boy, it is tough, and they deserve all our support. BJ, before I let you go, I want to play this clip because you talked about the police commissioner. So he was asked tonight with Martha McCallum. He was asked, will you keep Jessica Tisch, who is the current NYPD commissioner? Listen to what he says are the best qualities of Jessica Tisch, and listen to what he says first. Listen to this.
Commissioner Tisch, you have suggested that you want her to stay. Have you asked her to stay? And has she said yes? Because I think that is one issue that would go a long way towards police retention.
I've said that I appreciate Commissioner Tisch's record of uprooting corruption in the upper echelons of the NYPD. Yep. I've appreciated her presiding over drops in crime across the city, and I continue to actively consider her to be my police commissioner. I haven't made any personnel commitments.
Okay, so you don't want to ask her right now?
No. That's the kind of conversation I would actually have in person, in private.
Did you hear that, BJ? Everybody? Yeah. His first answer, and I picked up on it right away. A lot of people didn't notice it. He said, I appreciate her record uprooting corruption within the NYPD. If somebody said to me, what's the perfect NYPD commissioner? I'd say somebody who really is tough on crime, trains the officers well, but especially make sure the bad guys are busted and behind bars, and give the police all the support that they need because they got a tough job. And her answer is, the record in uprooting corruption within the NYPD, that's the criteria. That, to me, should send a chill through every police officer in this country.
Yeah, you're right, Rita. It's because his prejudice is against police. It's very revelatory. He immediately sees police as the enemy. They're the crooks. It's just like Joseph Stalin with his main prosecutor, Barria, who said, show me the man, I'll show you the crime. He does not like police. He's a cop hater. He's called them racist, and he's
anti-queer, racist, anti-queer.
Yes, he said all those things, and he hates police. He can't put these genies back in the bottle. Okay, he can say he didn't say them, but it's out there. And if you elect this guy in New York City, you're going to make New York an extremely unsafe place, a place where no one wants to live and no businesses will thrive and no children will want to be able to be safe on the streets and no elderly will be safe on the streets and no women will be safe on the streets thanks to him. This man innately thinks that the police are the problem, and he's got it backwards.
Yeah, he sure does. He sure does. And he has it. And even on that other issue where we talked about, you probably heard it, BJ, where we were talking about the criminals, and what he would do with these violent repeat offenders. And with the violent repeat offenders, one guy, 33 arrests, going around flailing a 20-inch knife. That person he would put in a community home that doesn't have any bars, and let's just put him in with a whole bunch of other people who have mental issues, and let's see who comes out alive. I mean, this it is so frightening that he doesn't think somebody like that needs to be locked up. He's blaming the system and having sympathy for the victim. For the attacker, and nothing on the victim. I didn't hear, she went after him. Martha McCallum kept asking him questions about his philosophy, and he said, well, we have to get to the root. It sounded so much like Kamala Harris, the root of the problem about the border. And of course, she did nothing. The border was the worst ever. So this guy, crime will probably be the worst ever because he'll be so focused on what he calls the root of the problem. And he blames the root on the problem on the system, not the violent offender. They just happen to be flailing a knife or a gun. But I guess it's our fault that he's doing that. This is sheer lunacy, BJ, sheer lunacy.
And it's very important to stay engaged with this because this guy is he's bad. He's bad news. He has no experience. There's dark money flowing into his campaign. I do think, though, before I paint this grim picture, Donald Trump is onto this. And the money that flows from the federal government to the city will stop flowing because, and he put it very brilliantly, he said, I'm not giving money to a guy who's going to throw it out the window on all these crazy programs. And that's exactly what he said the other day. And he's 100% right. This guy is a nut job. He has no business holding an office, $116 billion economy, where he has no clue how to handle it. And the ideas that he does have are screwy. They're just loony, putting these violent people in there. He doesn't care about these people in the neighborhoods that they'll destroy. He doesn't live there. He lives in a nice neighborhood with a police. He's going to live in Gracie Mansion.
Right. Exactly. Well, just like he talks about affordable housing left and right, BJ. And what do we see from him? We see this beautiful, rich compound with armed guards, by the way, in Uganda when he goes over there for this lavish wedding celebration. And he's a chameleon. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. He goes after the NYPD, calling them anti-gay, anti-queer, and then he's taking pictures with the person who spearheaded one of the most severe gay punishment laws in the world, coming from Uganda. First claims he doesn't know her, and then there's a lot of details that his family, and he definitely does know her. So, this guy, it doesn't seem, if that's the case, he's got some clear tendencies in terms of not liking people with different sexual affinities. He clearly doesn't like Italians because he gave the finger to the Columbus statue. Clearly doesn't like Jewish people because he said so many anti-Semitic things. He doesn't like the cops. He wants to tax white people. I'm trying to think who he hasn't offended yet. I'm waiting. BJ, thank you. Boy, oh boy. Let's go to Anthony in Brooklyn on line 2. Go ahead, Anthony. Your thoughts tonight.
Hi, Rita. First-time caller, sweetheart. I have to second the motion. What this man DJ just said, 150%. And definitely tomorrow night, Curtis is going to wipe the stage with this guy because there's nobody else that could do it, and he's going to do it 150%. And Rita,
well, by the way, Anthony, he has to do it because guess what? Right. He is a distant third. And guess what? If the dynamics haven't changed in this race, Mamdani will be the next mayor. This is their big opportunity for Curtis and Cuomo to go after him. Right. They can't get caught up in each other. They got to get caught up in going after Mamdani.
Every time you and the boss say truth, justice, and the American way, who was the character that stood up for that everybody knows?
Superman.
That is right. Superman is the man that stood for truth, justice, and the American way. And that big S on his chest said S-L-I-W-A, Sliwa, because that's the man that's going to come in and do the job and do it right.
Well, listen, Anthony, Curtis is a good debater. He just has to use his focus going after Mamdani because, he can, you can sit and go after Cuomo, all you want, but that is not going to change the dynamics in this race. And I do think, and people have said this, you probably heard this on Katz and Cosby, that the anti-Mamdani field, to beat Mamdani right now, if you look at it, anybody will tell you somebody has to get out of the race. So, but the clock is ticking. It's getting very close. I mean, early voting starts in New York on October 25th. There is the debate tomorrow night, and then there's the debate the following week. And that's it. So, and then there's a few days later and it's early voting. Absentee voting's already started. So, unless you can really change the train and get it off the tracks, that train is sadly going. And that is the train of destruction for New York City and America. This guy will start a very troubling trend, not only in New York. He's already said he wants to be part of starting this big national movement. So my bet is if he wins, then AOC is probably going to run for president. And, you can kiss the Democratic Party goodbye. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And we'll continue your calls here on a very busy news night on The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The following is a paid political announcement.
Lifelong Democrat Diana Florence served for 25 years as a Manhattan prosecutor under DA Robert Morgenthau. She put criminals away, stood up for victims, and protected our streets. Now, Diana is challenging failed Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as an independent because it's time for a DA who fights for our families, not criminals. That's why Diana has won the support of organized labor like the steamfitters, plumbers, and ironworkers, everyday New Yorkers who want a DA they can trust. Manhattan needs a DA who will do the job, prosecute crime. That's Diana Florence. Under Alvin Bragg, crime is up and prosecutions are down. Bragg doesn't prosecute crime. He plays partisan politics. Bragg failed to protect women and failed to protect workers. As a prosecutor, Diana Florence won groundbreaking convictions, fighting against corruption, domestic violence, wage theft, and deadly working conditions. She's always been a partner of unions, community groups, and to cops like us. For Manhattan District Attorney, vote for Diana Florence. Diana4DA.com. Paid for by Diana for Manhattan DA.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And listen to what Mamdani said. His sight is on Governor Cuomo, who, of course, is in the number 2 position there in the mayor's race.
And to your point, however, Andrew Cuomo is going to say a lot of things tomorrow night on the debate stage. And frankly, I wish it was more like NASCAR, so New Yorkers could see the billionaires that were sponsoring him right on his suit jacket. Because this is a man who had 10 years. And I know now that it's politically convenient, he watches Fox News as well. So I'll just speak to him directly. Andrew, you had your chance to lead this state. You took that time to sell out working class New Yorkers to your billionaire donors. And instead of actually meeting the needs of people who couldn't afford to live in the city, you gave $959 million in tax breaks to Elon Musk. And now you want us to believe that we can't spend less money than that to make every bus fast and free in the same city.
There he is. Let's go to Reggie in Texas, line 1. Reg, your thoughts real quick.
First thing is these people are never subject to the consequences of their own actions. He has a security force. He doesn't have to worry about whether criminals get prosecuted or whether they're out on the street creating more havoc for anyone else. They use the term deplorable. He's deplorable.
Yeah, and you know what? You make a good point that he's so ripe with hypocrisy. sitting there saying things need to be affordable, they need to be this, and then he comes from a wealthy family, saying, the NYPD is anti-queer, and he's taking pictures with somebody who had one of the biggest anti-gay laws in the world.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rita Cosby is on.
Well, I am heated up when I see Zohran Mamdani. When I saw the interview today on Fox News, I wanted to throw something at the TV. I could not believe the guy was talking in circles. He has word salad down to a PhD level. He makes Kamala Harris look like a kindergartner in word salads. This guy smiles, says, "Oh, I'm so happy to be here." I really applaud the NYPD commissioner for scolding police officers. And let's put repeat offenders in a community house as opposed to behind bars. Let's open up the jails. And yes, Hamas and Israel are on the same footing. They're both equal. I mean, this guy could not even say disarm Hamas. He is a true believer. And he is true trouble, I believe, for New York City. Here's a little bit more. You got to hear this because Martha McCallum asked him, let's talk about safety. Let's talk about the NYPD because you've made some very horrible comments about the NYPD. Now, he tries to make it look like he was like a kindergartner when he made these statements. And this is something that, by the way, I hope because a lot of people listen to this show. We have so many listeners around the country. I hope the candidates and the moderators, and I'm talking to you, Curtis Sliwa and Andrew Cuomo, and also the moderators at WNBC TV who are going to be doing this debate tomorrow. I hope all of you say, wait a minute, you didn't say this like 30 years ago, Assemblyman Mamdani. You didn't. You said these just a few years ago. You were an adult at the time. So don't try to blame it on childhood foolishness. But listen to this because she asked him, Martha McCallum, will you apologize to the NYPD? And he sort of did, but not really.
Police officers that I spoke to, they don't want a behind closed doors apology. They want a broad public apology for the things that you suggested about them. Will you do that right now?
Absolutely. I'll apologize to police officers right here because this is the apology that I've been sharing with many rank and file officers. And I apologize because of the fact that I'm looking to work with these officers. And I know that these officers, these men and women who serve in the NYPD, they put their lives on the line every single day. And I will be a mayor that
What changed your mind about it?
I moved to the city when I was 7 years old. Yeah. I grew up here. And two of the things that I thought often about was safety and justice. And growing up here, learning about the case of the exonerated five, learning about Sean Bell, learning about Eric Garner, learning about Michael Brown. And then in 2020, the year where all of these tweets are referring to, it was the year when George Floyd was killed. And it felt like safety and justice had never been further apart. And it was actually Eric Adams in 2021 who said that New Yorkers need not choose between these two things. Mm-hmm. And so one of my focuses was, how do we deliver that justice? And now what I know, having represented 100,000 people in Western Queens, is that to deliver that justice, you have to also deliver that safety. And that means representing the men and women in the NYPD. It means representing the black and brown New Yorkers who've been victims of police brutality. It means representing the Muslim New Yorkers in my district who were surveilled on the basis of their faith.
68% of independent voters want more police officers on the street. And Cuomo, tomorrow night in that debate, he's going to say, I'm going to bring 5,000 more police officers to the street. Will you match that and agree with him on that?
I don't look to Andrew Cuomo for leadership. And
will you put 5,000 more cops on the street?
I've been very clear. I want to keep the number of officers that we have, and I want to make it easier for those officers to do their job. And what that means is that we allow officers to focus on serious crimes. And for all of the focus on the head count, we should focus on the retention crisis. When I started running for mayor, 200 officers were leaving the department every month. Mm-hmm. Now it's 350. And a lot of them are leaving because there's simply no way they can do their job in what's being asked of them.
That is an extraordinary statement. I really do want to throw something at the TV set when I was watching this moment, because did you hear what he said? I won't increase the number of police. So even if crime goes up, population goes up, it probably won't under him. It'll probably decrease dramatically. not just the NYPD force, but just citizens will not want to live in a New York City under Zohran Mamdani. But even if crime goes up, he's not going to increase police. Oh, no, that's ridiculous. And I'm just going to decide where I send them because protests are First Amendment. They're not violent. That's just free speech. When they're breaking into Macy's, that's free speech. This guy is nuts. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Norm in Brooklyn on line 4. Go ahead, Norm.
Yes, Rita. Yeah, this guy's a greasy liar, insurance car salesman, used car salesman. By
the way, what did you make of his apology? That was such a lame apology. That wasn't an apology. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 minutes to midnight. I mean, I don't mean that we're actually 5 minutes to midnight, although we will be pretty soon. But we're 5 minutes to, I feel like, the end in New York City.
I do too. I sadly do too, Norm.
He's going to wreck this place.
He will destroy New York.
He's going to wreck this place.
And it may be irrevocable for a long time. And what scares me about this guy is, he's slippery and he kind of talks in circles, but he doesn't, if you really listen, he's not hiding what he's saying. He's pretty clear that he doesn't like Jews. He wants to arrest Netanyahu, that he won't increase the police. He wants to put even violent repeat offenders in, community housing as opposed to a jail. And he wants to open up the jails and let go all the prisoners there because it's society's fault, not these beautiful, sweet, violent, mass murderers. Those people didn't mean any harm and society did it, not them. So this is tough stuff, Norm. And this guy, the sad thing is, and I said it earlier, there is no backstop with this guy. No. That's the problem. Like you don't have, it's bad enough to have anybody in a pivotal position like a mayor of the biggest city, but you've got a situation where you have other people who espouse what he believes, and he's bragging already about being, the national trend. So if he gets in, this is going to be a cancer that I believe will spread to cities across this country. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I'm concerned about the voting. I'm concerned about, I've come to the conclusion that I don't give a damn what the conservatives of your audience or my friends think about me anymore. I'm supporting Andrew Cuomo. He's 33%, and I'll take 33% over 15% any day. I'm hoping that Curtis and Cuomo can somehow consolidate, and if not, then the weak link got to go. And as long as the polls are saying that Cuomo is the stronger link, then Cuomo's got to be the man. And I hate Cuomo. I really don't like Cuomo, but he doesn't stand for anything I believe in. I'm conservative all down the line, but hey, this is a chess game. And I live in this city, and I pay my taxes here, and I don't want to get clubbed in the head here, and that's what's going to happen under, that's what's going to happen under this Mamdani.
By the way, Norm, a lot of people feel like you do, Norm, and are saying it's a choice between someone that many people perceive as having terrorist leanings or sympathy, or somebody who doesn't. And I never thought, I know a lot of people who absolutely hate Cuomo, but said, I can't vote. I cannot have Mamdani, that they are so frightened about Mamdani that they, just like you, are voting for whoever is ahead. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's see. But if the race hasn't changed, they got to solidify.
I think I'm going to start drinking again, Rita. I'm serious.
I think we all will, Norm.
I haven't drunk for a year. I used to have a couple of pops before I called you. I'm sober, but I think you're going to start hearing me slur my words again, Rita.
I think America is going to start drinking again if this guy gets in. Norm, we love you. Let's see what happens tomorrow night, and be sure to call us after the debate, because I can't wait to hear your thoughts after tomorrow's debate, because it is going to be a biggie. Norm, hold the bottle for now, but let's see what happens tomorrow night, guys. Let's go to Sherry in Yonkers on line 1. Go ahead, Sherry, your thoughts.
Hi, Rita. This is the first time I'm calling. I'm really concerned. I live in Westchester, Yonkers, and poll worker. I work all the elections.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay, wow.
Yeah, but here's a problem and I hope Curtis gets in, and I hope he doesn't back out. If you look on the sample ballot for the New York City mayoral election, all the candidates will remain on the ballot. Eric Adams.
Yep. By the way, I saw a sample ballot. I saw it.
Yes. And if a lot of people may not realize, they'll think, oh, maybe he can back in, and they'll vote for him, and that will be discarded. And I'm just not sure most people know.
And by the way, Sherry, since you saw a sample ballot and I saw it, it does not change, right? So I actually have a question for you. What I found interesting, and we know that Cuomo is an independent candidate. That is clearly his philosophy. And that's clearly, that he is running as an independent because he lost the Democratic primary, right? So as a result of that, he is listed in the independent line. But then there are other parties that are on that initial line that are also on the independent line. Like, so if you look at the ballot, it has, it has first off Mamdani, the Democratic nominee, obviously, the candidate there. Then you see Curtis, of course, the Republican nominee. And then you see these different other lines. Like some of them, I think Curtis has the animal rights line, whatever that group, big animal supporter. Then you see some of these others. Then you see Eric Adams. And then you go to the next line, and Cuomo's sort of buried there on the next line. How did that happen? And how did Cuomo's team accept that? I would assume they would have gotten a sample ballot.
Yeah, that's a problem. It seems some people vote for the first line period, which would be Democrat straight across, and Republican second. And I don't know how. I used to think it was alphabetical order. He's running under, the name of his party is?
I think it's like a fight line or something like that. I got to look at it, but it's like something. Yeah, I'll even tell you in 1 second because I'm going to look at a picture. I actually took a screen grab of it earlier because I could not believe when I was looking at it. It's so shocking. So here it is. The first line. Oops, hold on 1 second. The first line, as I mentioned, is Zohran Mamdani. And then the next line is Curtis Sliwa. And then the next one is Irina Estrada, who's listed under the conservative line. Then you got Zohran Mamdani on another line, the working families line. Then you have on the protect animals line, Curtis. Then you got Eric Adams on what's called safe and affordable line. And then you've got Jim Walden, who's running, he was out of the race, but he's still there. So is Eric Adams, as you know. And then you got fight and deliver line by Cuomo. And then next is Joe Hernandez, quality of life line. These are independent lines. But it's like Cuomo is really kind of buried in there. How did that happen? Because you would assume there were other independent candidates that are listed on the top line. Eric Adams is in there, and I would have assumed at this point Cuomo was higher in the polls. How did that happen that he's buried? Because that will have an impact at the polls.
Oh, absolutely. Some people won't even look at the end. I'm not sure if it's political or exactly how it works. It's really odd.
I think they do petitions, right? I think they base it on like petitions into them many, many months ago. But I would have assumed that they also sent a sample. The problem is that absentee ballots have already gone out. So those absentee ballots will essentially, since they've gone out, this is what it is. This is what's going to be when they go to vote. And that is also troubling. If you're Andrew Cuomo, yeah, you're not in a good key position, which is even more important to get the word out because people may not look on that next line, like you said. So, boy, oh boy, how important do you think tomorrow night is, Sherry? I think tomorrow night's debate is maybe going to be make or break in this race.
Oh, absolutely. I hope Curtis does well. I live in Yonkers, but I'm right on the borderline. I'm always in the city. And I know Curtis could really change the city, make it safe.
And what about Mamdani?
Oh, my God. I better take some famotidine or ulcer medicine. It's terrible.
Will you share it with all of us? Because we're going to need that if he gets elected.
Yeah.
Sherry, thank you.
Absolutely.
You're terrific. You got to call.
Thank you.
Call us after the debate. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts after the debate because boy, oh boy, it could be a doozy. You guys, we are going to continue your calls after this brief break here on Support Our Heroes. The number is 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And now, here is Support Our Heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from Pennsylvania, where family and friends gathered to honor a World War II veteran, Franklin Frabel, during a very special pinning ceremony for him. Now, images of the great veteran highlighted him dancing with a U.S. president's daughter and his journey of service being deployed around the globe. He served in the U.S. Army after being drafted during World War II at the age of 18. And he said, I went from the East Coast to the West Coast and to the atomic bomb. He said, noting that he trained in California before being sent overseas. He said, I got to see the world. Veteran Frabel was in the Philippines loading a warship when America dropped the atomic bombs in August 1945. He made it back stateside. He was then taken to Walter Reed Memorial Hospital for an injury, and he was later called to a meeting by then President Harry S. Truman. So he went to visit the president, sat around a table with different officials from different administrations, and then after that, he danced with Truman's daughter, and he said it was a wonderful night. How beautiful to see this great World War II veteran and someone who's certainly seen a lot of history honored in such a beautiful, beautiful way. And everybody support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate just $11 a month to the incredible Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Oh, the sick day struggle is real. But with Dimetapp, it doesn't have to be. Children's Dimetapp works quickly to soothe multiple bothersome cough, cold, and allergy symptoms in a single dose. Our fast-acting formulas are designed with kids in mind, so they get everything they need and nothing they don't. Available in liquid and on-the-go chewable tablets. Tap the banner now to shop at Amazon and say goodbye to the sick day struggle with Dimetapp. Use as directed.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And let's go to your calls, guys. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Luke in Queens on line 1. Go ahead, Luke.
Oh, hello, Rita. Nice to talk to you. Wow, glad to have been that first time. But I want to talk about that.
Awesome.
How this is going to be a very exciting time with being out there on this debate, because Curtis has to come out strong like Trump did when he had those other people in the line, and he turned everybody down, put everybody down. He's got to be energetic. He's got to bring the energy there, and he's got to give Cuomo a knockout, because Cuomo, when he was on Sid's show, he was talking about that. Oh, I manage this, I manage this. Oh, you don't have the information, you don't have the experience about this. But he's got to come strong, and then he's got to go to the juggler, to Mamdani.
Well, that's the point, Luke. Because guess what? If he doesn't go after Mamdani, and Mamdani stays where he is, and the numbers maybe go up a little bit, that's not enough. You know, I mean, you look at the math right now. Let's look at the math. The math is pretty clear. He is decently ahead. The combination of Curtis and Cuomo together, if all their followers join forces and pick one of the candidates, that could topple Mamdani. But anything short of that ain't going to make it. So you got to also somehow put a dent in him, too, and galvanize people to say, this is the one person. That's the only way, Luke. That's the only way. Your thoughts?
Yeah, because when Mamdani, he talks in word salad. So Curtis has got to come out. What are you talking about? You're insane or something, you know? And because the Islamic culture allows the people to lie so that they can get into office, and the more people of the Islamic come into this office, then it's trouble for the U.S. and this cannot happen. This has got to be the stop. He's got to do it. He's got to really come out strong.
Well, New York needs a verbal punch out. I agree in that regard, Luke, because anything short of that, this race is over, and that saddens me big time. So time for a knockout punch, guys. Real quick to Mike on the Lower East Side. Go ahead, Mike. Line 5, real quick.
Yeah. Curtis got to put this into him. He's got to say, isn't it true that the Quran, along with Sharia, says to cut those disbelievers at the throat with a knife or a sword? And that's in the Quran. Quran is part of the Sharia, and it tells them to cut and strike at the neck. All right. So,
well,
Curtis
you know what he should say. Will you denounce Sharia law? Will you denounce this? Will you denounce that? And it has to be yes or no, because otherwise the guy is going to talk in circles all over the place. You guys, we will talk tomorrow night after the debate, and tune in on WABC. I'll be covering the debate.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.